Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike King here. I'm a good friend of Mindy Flanagan. She is our HR guru, but she does it differently. You are?
No,
Mike and Mindy.
Mike and Mindy.
Mike and Mindy. So for the folks who are, you ain't got enough miles on you. Mike and Mindy is a play on Mork and Mindy from 900 years ago. And so Mindy is here. We talk about any and everything under the sun. We got a research staff they're working. They could be coal miners. They're working so hard.
We do try to weave small business ownership and HR into our conversation.
But in a lot of those conversations,
social issues.
All right, so really quickly, tell people who you are and what you do.
My name is Mindy Flanagan. I am the founder and chief inspiration officer for Inspiring HR. We help small businesses, typically those with less than 50 employees, solve employee pain. We do that by providing you access to a dedicated, real person HR consultant like this lovely lady sitting here, who will help you put together your people management infrastructure so that you can lessen employee pain as you grow.
So now, in many of our conversations, something comes up, and they are called Kim-isms.
Well, so that's why I invited Kim with me today.
So, and before she gets started,
yes,
some of those are so good, ma'am, this is what plays.
Oh, right, he's got a sound effect thing. Yes, it's really fun.
Some of those are heavenly.
Wow.
So tell us who you are, what you do, and then we gonna get to them.
Some of the Kim-isms I've already shared with him. I remember specifically, like his eyes.
And they say they can be on bumper stickers.
Bumper stickers.
Yeah, that is true, yes.
I just thought of that. We had a conversation about one of your children.
Yes.
Do you know where she got that from? I'm just putting, I'm not the sharpest one around.
Well, let her introduce herself, and then she can say.
And that way we can talk about how we get to the Kim-isms and how they play a part in business.
Yes, give everybody some context here.
Yes. So my name is Kim Sink, and I am an HR consultant for Inspiring HR. I have been with Mindy for 3.5 years.
Yeah, 4 in April.
Yeah.
March.
And I love it. The majority of my clients are here in Richmond. And before Inspiring HR, I spent a decade in advertising, which was one of those, it was a great ride, but then when it was over, it was over. It was over.
Just ready for next phase.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. And then also, two things can be true. It was also time to go. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I
have 10-year-old twin girls.
Sure.
And I went to Virginia Tech. I am obsessed with Virginia Tech.
Which is why we call you
Hokey.
That is her nickname. Hokey is her nickname. Yep.
Okay.
So there you go. Now you know about Kim. Now, one thing I'll add. When Kim and I first met, she called me because somebody suggested it just to pick my brain.
Correct.
And I think she knows this, from the first time I talked to her, like, happy to mentor. I was thinking to myself, happy to mentor her. Lovely speaking with her. I'm going to turn her into an HR consultant. How long did it take?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months. Alrighty. What was before you ran into Mindy out on the street corner talking about HR? What was your initial thoughts of HR?
Well, I was in HR and advertising, but I think it was the traditional, what a lot of people think of as HR and, Yes, I know. Not the best, yeah.
Oh, he knows. The whole basis of the show is HR. And
I'm thinking like...
He has me try and prove HR done differently.
So, Kim, you are in an advertising environment.
Yes.
When Kim walks in, now there are people who like you in that environment, but what's the good feeling that Kim comes with? And she just like, boy, we want to go see Kim today in an official capacity.
What I hope people would say
okay, thank you.
is that I make them think about things differently than what they would have thought about it. And I challenge them in a good way and not an aggressive way, so that they actually do think, maybe I should call Kim before I make a decision, because she provides good perspective.
And so now that is really the way it's supposed to be. And that one is an idea of how a department HR plays. Meeting Mindy years ago, that I'd never heard that part. People want to hear from the HR person one time when I got the job. And they're like, okay, great. Everything else after that point is, from an employee standpoint, not a lot of help. we think that you're the union for it, so you're there to help. In reality, so that's part of the conversation that Mindy has brought to the table. So when did you realize that Mindy did HR differently?
Part of the problem is when I first talked to Mindy, I thought I knew what I wanted in my next chapter. But it took me a while and a little bit of time, to decompress to actually know what I wanted. I didn't know what I wanted when I first talked to her. And I thought that the type of business model that she had of fully remote, 30 hours a week and not traditional 40 hours a week was not what I wanted. And then after some decompressing time, I realized actually that was what I wanted. But I didn't know that at first.
You didn't know that at first.
I don't think it was a hard sell, right? I gave you some time to really consider the job.
Yeah, it wasn't Mindy, and it wasn't what she did. I also was not a consultant, so I didn't know. You think you might be able to do something or not do it, but
It's actually very different to be like all in on one company inside an HR department versus how much you have to shift your thinking and be multi-client facing all kinds of different businesses effective. It's a different kind of HR strategy and troubleshooting.
I hadn't thought about that. So Kim, one part of the day for a couple hours, you'll be immersed in a company that does X.
correct.
You come back out of that and you go to a company that does Y. In the past, yours was all advertising all the time.
Yep. It
For
was
one
company, one industry, one set of employees. Yes. That was it.
How do we find the next generation of HR professionals?
Oh, but
Ooh.
Well, okay, we'll go back. Where'd you go to Virginia Tech to study?
Finance.
You always said Keto was good with numbers?
Yes.
She didn't blink at
I
yes.
studied accounting too.
Okay, is there something there? Like, have you ever seen a person go to a school for sales and end up in HR? I don't think that's, no, I don't.
No, normally when salespeople end up in HR, it's because somebody was afraid to fire them, so they just move them into HR to make them
And then they
less
were
of a problem.
unruly in HR.
Yes.
Okay, so Kim, you're at Virginia Tech. When did you know that HR would be the thing, I'm good with the numbers. When did HR become something?
Not until after college. So I went to Virginia Tech and I studied finance because I was good at numbers. That was what I did. And I did get a minor in business leadership, which ironically, there are a lot of HR classes, but I didn't know that at the time. My mom was in HR and she told my sister and I both, you cannot go into HR. My sister promptly graduated and did HR, and I took a while before I realized that's actually what I really want to do. So I did money and numbers for a long time first.
Made her a calculated business person, which
Right,
is
and
actually the way we like to staff business people who are great at HR. It makes it a much more relatable, effective, proactive relationship with our clients.
So in reality, you're hiring a person. We can teach them the HR aspect.
It's good to have some foundation, but we can certainly build a lot from a baseline foundation, particularly if you have good multi-client account management skills. And let's just say, like in Kim's case, she knew compliance, but she didn't know multi-state compliance. But we had all the tools and the infrastructure to teach it to her over a period of time. So that's just one example of what you can build from.
All right, Kim, so you're good with numbers. When did you realize that you were nice with the words, that you were a wordsmith?
Yeah, you are a wordsmith. I don't even know if she's always been a wordsmith, but she's given my work environment plenty of zingers.
It wasn't until I was with Mindy.
Really?
Really? So the whole time growing up, no one ever had come to me and said, boy, Kim, you got some. You had some that were really zingers, that were good.
I was always told that I had leadership qualities,
Okay.
which for kids that translates into you're a little bit bossy
Yes.
and aggressive. And my mom bought me a book one time and it said, choose being kind over being right.
Oh, interesting.
Mm.
And I
How old
never
were you
read
then?
that. I had to have been like 11 or 12.
So your kid's age.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Now, that one is something there. So before reading the book, which side would you say that you were leaning on? Being kind or being right?
I was on the side of being right, but I did not realize that I was not being kind.
Right.
That's interesting. Now,
That is.
now apply the perspective to the story she just told us about her her very entrepreneurial spirited daughter.
And being a salesman, entrepreneur, that touches my heart.
Oh, that she wanted to sell bracelets at a funeral?
Yes.
Let me just tell anybody who listens to this, I love this kid. I love her entrepreneurial spirit. I love her passion. But to your point, kids at that age have a standout strength. It's up to parents to teach them the rest.
Because we kind of need to harness some of that energy as the parent. So, so leadership. You were, you might have been a little bit bossy in those days. When you got to Mindy's place, what was it that the zingers became Kim-isms?
Well, can we share some of the zingers?
Yes.
Let's do rapid fire here. How many of your zingers that I think you know I love can you just spout out off the top of your head?
I don't know. I think you would have to tell me them.
Well, I'm going to tee you up.
Because I don't know what good zingers are.
Well, first,
So you don't know because they're yours.
Well,
and
she
it's your
says them in
thinking.
the moment, but it's like genius in the moment. Like, I feel like I should like have that red box there that you have over there. And every time she says one, I set off a noise and then I write it down so I don't forget. So, but these are the things that have stuck with me that are Kim-isms. Ask instead of assume. Good advice for any HR professional. Instead of being the traditional workplace where you just assume every employee wants this one thing, why don't you be wise with the budget for that one thing and ask employees to choose from some things? So ask instead of assume. All the way to like group health insurance. You might think with less than 50 employees, you just offer group health insurance because that's what everybody expects from you. You might be surprised when your employee population says that benefit's not important to us. So as an example, so ask instead of assume. You had one recently that I loved. People love autonomy, but not without guardrails. I love that one.
Okay, ma'am.
Oh, he's going to stop me already.
I like that.
Okay.
People want it, but they know they can't trust themselves. They need guardrails. There has to be the voice of reason, that reasonable standard.
Reasonable person standard.
The problem is, it's like common sense. Sometimes the common is in short supply. So, Kim, what did it take you to realize that people needed guardrails?
I think that in our profession, we know that a lot of conflict comes in when there are no guardrails. It is a mix of you cannot micromanage people. They do not like that. And you cannot be so completely hands off that they spend all day not knowing if they're doing something right they're, with everything that there's a mix.
So again, healthy middle, the pursuit of the healthy middle.
Do you think that now with and Mindy is the young person champion. She's always in here.
Invest in the young people.
You're
They're
right.
eventually going to take over anyway.
Yeah, I know. That's the scary part.
It's not. I think a lot of them. Kim's a young person champion too. Yes.
I'd like the young people. I do.
You should. What worries you so much?
I know how I am. I used to be the real buttoned-up guy.
Okay. I'm having a hard time picturing that, but okay.
And then going back the
I
other way,
believe you, actually know your military background.
Benjamin Button's going back the other way because I felt like I did it like this for so long. Down the middle of the road, the guardrails. I've had people say, I don't want to ride with you because you drive too slow, but you could take my kids all day long.
That's funny.
That is like the rudest thing going. Like, I'm not riding with you because I need to get there on time or early, but with my kids, I'll trust them with you.
No, I'd get in the car with you.
Yeah, because
You also have a BMW. I like your car.
You know what, Mindy? On the mic is Mike Mindy Flanagan here. Alrighty, so Kim, the idea of telling people having an idea and you can make it concise for people to understand. That's something, because with HR, you're taking some complex things. People's feelings are hurt. They're going, I can't stand Bob the boss.
Oh, there's the Bob again. Yes, I'm married to
Sorry,
the Bob.
Bob. You're Bill the boss.
Why does the boss have to be male?
Oh, there you go. She's going to challenge you now.
Oh, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. And you know the one thing is, for me, I had to explain this to the people at ESPN. 60% of the people engaged with me are women. I've been married forever. I get that part. And I understand. I'm giving people a platform. Sometimes men are just, I'm not going to say the manly man thing going on, but a lot of times that is. Guys are just doing stuff because you need some guardrails. Because a lot of times without, I'm going to get on the soapbox here, but if there's
I'm trying not to.
if there's not a woman there with some sanity, sometimes things can go
Sometimes.
most of the time.
Yes, but to her point of what she's really skilled at, whether she's talking to employees, I hate to talk to you about you like you're not here, but I think you know this, whether you talk to employees or leaders or small business owners, a lot of people embrace her style of HR consulting because they trust her to bring in different perspectives and different thoughts so they can make an informed decision. And sometimes the way she challenges them is she challenges them to step outside of their emotions and in a way be a little bit more broader thinking and a little bit more reasonable. I don't know, would you say that's about right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
And going back to like what makes what made me go into HR or what do people think of as HR, I think the H part of HR is human. You have to be really good at building relationships and talking to human beings, because I also say a lot, we employ humans, we don't employ robots.
Yeah.
So that is something that I say multiple times a week to people is, that person that you're giving instruction to or feedback to or hiring, all of that, they are a human being and not a robot. So they're not going to respond like you would like for them to respond. They're not going to work like you want them to work. They're going to do it in the way that they're bringing to work and their, everything that comes along with it.
And another Kimism you can pair with that, I'll let her fill in the blanks. We were talking about, people want autonomy. People don't want to be micromanaged, but they don't want to be out there on this island all by themselves just guessing. And part of that just guessing part is where we see cultures erode, because another Kimism is, which I love, in the absence of information, people will
write a negative narrative.
Yep.
Way to go, negative Nancy. There you go.
But then tie that to who I was here with last week, the PR person. Communication is critical. It needs to be a critical skill by so many people that affect the workplace culture.
It is the ability to tell your story. So, Kim, when you're talking, this is a business show. One of Mike and Mindy here, Kim is with us as well. So when you're talking to business own the leader person, and you're telling them this is HR, human resources, you're talking to humans. It is hard to corral humans to not be robotic and toe the line and do all those things. So what's the pushback sometimes when you have to explain to them, you have human beings, you don't have robots?
Yeah, that's a good question. Have you had that challenge with a client?
They may not say it. They may not say it, boy, but you can tell.
I'm sure they think.
Do you think that's a pain point when presented? Like part of their pain is they were really hoping for more precision with these humans than they're getting?
I'm sure it's that. I think some of the pushback is when a leader has an ego and news like you hired human beings and not robots is very humbling for them because it means that they cannot control like they thought that they could control their workforce. So you really have to embrace we employ human beings and not robots. And if you embrace it, then, if they're not embracing it, I think it's generally some sort of a leadership soft skill that we need to talk about.
Which is another Kimism, which I can see coming out of this. Now, something else I learned from her when I have more robust thinking now, thanks to her and other people on my team, our team, than I once did, in part because of this phrase. Two things can be true at once. You can be dialed into this one thing and be dedicated. But the other thing that's true is you may have, just because you're sure about this one thing doesn't mean the other person's perspective isn't valid. I didn't explain that well. You give it two things can be true example.
I'll give you an example. A lot of times clients will call because they're having an issue with an employee. And generally, it's a long-standing employee that's done a lot of work. They've been there from the ground up, whatever. And there's a one-track mind that, people that have been with us for a long time need to stay with us for a long time. And how can we make that work? And generally, when we go down the path of, have you thought about maybe this person's chapter is up here? And you can tell that it just pains them. And I remind them, two things can be true. They could have had a great chapter and made amazing contributions and been great for your company and it's time for them to leave. You can't, people think that offboarding is contentious and negative all the time, but it does not diminish the good work that they did. And that has actually been pretty eye-opening for a lot of employers, because then they approach the conversation that way. They don't approach it like, oh my gosh, I have to fire this person. Offboarding doesn't have to be you're getting fired. It can be, what does, separation look like in a mutual
Come
way.
on, ma'am.
So this is what I knew he was going to perk up, because
exactly. I perked up.
because
I
he's
came to work on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We had to let Mike go.
Well, here we go.
Mike didn't want to go anywhere. Mike wanted to be here. You decided that, Mike, your presence was no longer requested. You can go somewhere else.
Right.
But two things can be. I had a person who had already told me, the people that took you to 3 million can't necessarily be the people to get you to 10 million.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. But how do you leave the person
There's your
who
butt.
got me? That is a but, and that's a big but. How do we leave that person who got us to 3 and really show that person, hey, Sarah, we really appreciate it and all this. We're going on, but we're leaving you back here at 3 million.
I'll be salesy for a minute before you answer. This is exactly why you need to talk to HR professionals, because whatever your lived experience was in the past on how you separated people, that doesn't have to be necessarily how you handle a challenge like that. And when you invite other thought partners in who have skill in proposing alternatives to what you are facing, you're going to end up with a better decision. Okay, now you go.
I would correct one thing that you said.
Okay.
So you said, we're going to 5 million, but we're leaving you at 3 million. You need to change that but to an and. We're going to 5 million, and we're leaving you at 3 million.
Okay.
Get to the end.
But here's the
But is
end.
negative.
Yeah, right? Okay. But Mindy's always talking about the right people in the right seats and the right bus going the right direction.
Sure.
Mike used to sit in the passenger seat when Kim's driving. Now all of a sudden, Mike's no longer in the front seat. Mike is in the back, and he's in the seat behind the driver, so you can't even see where we're going anymore.
Oh.
My relationship with you has changed. You have to help me understand. I got you to 3. We're very successful. You're the visionary leader. You want to take it to 10, and now you're telling me, Mike, you're good, but
And that's where you need
that's
to
where the hurt happens.
It is,
Yeah.
but you also need to open yourself up to what are the options to either put this person in a different seat or be very generous with an offboarding period of time and get creative with how you will support them in finding that next chapter. There are way more options out there to handle this
Okay.
than one might think.
Kim, let me ask you a question. When did you realize that Mindy did business different? And part of the things I always say is I got a few miles on me. I look like a spring chicken. No, I don't.
You're only 6 years older than me.
Yes, I know, but those are 6 hard miles.
Well, you did military. I didn't.
Yes, okay. So everyone has an open door policy. No one has it.
Do they?
They
I
say
don't
they
think she
do.
believes it either.
They say they
And
do.
it's in our own handbook.
And in reality, they don't. Mindy, so I said she invites dissent.
Come on.
How many
I'm sitting here nervous that she won't agree with
How
that.
many people, business owners, leaders, invite dissent and just give it to me straight? I have an open door policy, and there are no repercussions when you leave because my feelings are hurt.
That's rare when that happens. When a leader legitimately and genuinely can invite dissent.
It is rare.
It is rare. But even if that particular leader or owner of a company has a hard time doing it, but has people around them that has the ability to do it and can influence them, that's also really helpful too.
So when so you may not have the ability to do it, but the infrastructure you put around you gives you the ability to make those hard decisions
Correct.
because it takes it from you personally.
And if you care about the people you employ, even if you take the feedback, maybe it was negative initially as the one receiving it, but you push yourself to step back and be objective and now not make your reaction completely emotionally based, even if it was in the moment. I do hope you've employed reasonable people that when you wrestle with this and settle on something, and maybe chose a different path than what the employee wanted, you still have ability to keep a credible relationship intact with them because you care enough to explain why you went in the direction you did. I don't think employees get a lot of explanation. I continue to think leader transparency is far too not the majority in the workplace.
No, I don't think it is.
It's very minimalized
And
still.
I think if you were to compare it to something smaller or everyday, like feedback, you know, how often do you hear that leaders don't like to give negative feedback because they don't want to hurt people's feelings or whatever? That is a very disrespectful thing to not give feedback, because people are not mind readers. They're not going to just walk into work one day and say, oh my gosh, I've been doing my job wrong for the last 6 months.
And they just found out on the annual review, which is one of my biggest pet peeves, because you didn't bother to talk to them all year long, but everything they did wrong in the last 12 months ends up on their annual review. Just don't do it.
So in the absence of giving feedback and talking to people like they're human beings, I think that that's disrespectful. One of the most respectful things you can do is treat a human being like a human being. And the same thing when it's a bigger decision like someone's job, which is their livelihood, not telling them or keeping them in the wrong seat for too long or whatever the case is. It is going to be a really hard conversation and a hard decision, and not just one conversation, but it is one of the most respectful things you can do.
Kim, let me ask you, a lot of times people have gone and been with other HR outfits. When do they realize that you guys do it differently? And when does the light bulb come on to be like, that they realize, oh, you guys are different than the last ones that we dealt with?
No,
I don't get as much about the last ones we dealt with. We get a lot of clients that come to us that haven't had support at all. And they come in with a preconceived notion of what they think HR is based off of what their history tells them HR is, what social media tells you what HR is, and they come to us. And even in the sales process, we're very honest with them about what we believe HR is, how we can help them. So I think that it's some of those initial conversations. When you talk to us the first time, it's going to be very similar to when you talk to us the 100th time.
I am very serious about alignment. What we sell you is actually
Is what
what
you're
we
getting.
do, and this is how we execute on that. And we don't try and be everything to everyone. You know that.
We've had that
I
conversation.
mean, when we have companies that call us and say, you know, I'm doing payroll here, but I really would want to work with you guys, but I need you to handle benefits and payroll too. It's an extreme example, but it's absolutely not. We are never going to be licensed benefit brokers. We have a very set lane that we believe positively impacts our target client community. And if we don't do something that you need after a period of time and you trust us, I promise you we have networked with enough people and vetted enough people that we can point you in the right direction and who you might want to work with to do that thing we don't.
Part of the reason that people do that is because there's that trust factor. You're taking care of this for me. Come on, hook a guy, because I trust you. All I know is, like, when we talk about Richmond the area, they talk about a person, we market Richmond. A person flew into Henrico, went downtown to Richmond, came to Chesterfield, went over to Goochland. When they left there, we went to Richmond. So you are the person that I know in HR.
Right.
So I don't know this benefits and this. So you're just a person, and then you have to say, no, that's not our core competency. Alrighty. So Mike and Mindy is the program. Kim has been here with us. All right, Kim, I got one final question.
Yes.
Now that you're in HR and you look back, so not only did Mom get 1 or 2, she got 2 for 2 in the HR space. What is it now that you think that Mom, the thing that made it special for her, that you saw that she liked it and she stayed, but maybe she didn't want you guys to get your hearts? It can be a hard business.
Well, I did see
I
her
think it's-
mom did weigh in, I think on a social media post or something where she outwardly said for all to see how proud she was of you.
Yeah, I think that was my mother-in-law.
Oh, sorry.
My mom's not on social media.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
I think
Well, some elder of yours piped up and said what a good job you do. So.
the reason why my mom said she did not want us to go into HR is because it is a hard, emotionally draining business. And she did not want us to have the hard part. So I think a lot of parents don't want their kids to have the hard stuff.
Yeah.
But we are capable women, and she raised us like that. And, I think she didn't have enough trust in her own parenting, but
Wait a minute, is your mother-in-law HR too?
She's not.
Okay, gotcha.
One of the things we look at from HR, and I think why mom would look at that is, you're walking down a hall, you don't see a person, you see an HR file. I had a friend who was, it was an accountant, and they made him,
That's not us. We
they
actually see
made
the person,
him,
right?
they want him to be the payroll clerk, and he said he didn't want to do it
Why?
because he know what people made, and
He wasn't
some,
comfortable with that.
yeah, and sometimes you were not worth it.
Very self-reflective on that individual.
And so he didn't know. All right, so Kim, how can people reach you out there?
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
InspiringHR.com. Meet the team, I think is where it is.
Yes. Yep. She's on
What's your LinkedIn?
Kim Sink.
Sink, S-I-N-K?
Yes.
There you go.
Like kitchen sink.
Like you get them too, where you just catch
I'll
it.
do the can thing. InspiringHR.com. I know this because I've said it so often. InspiringHR.com. Go to our contact us page. You can fill in an inquiry to learn more. Your inquiry will be routed to myself or Valerie Juarez. We actually have a more detailed form called Schedule an Introductory Call, which is on our services page if you want to provide more pertinent information about why you're looking for HR help. Follow Inspiring HR on LinkedIn, connect with me so you can see some of my personal posts. You can connect with Kim as well. Anybody, you find Inspiring HR, you'll see all our people. Connect with who you want to connect with. I don't feel as though we've over dialed into LinkedIn, but you will find some good juicy posts from us that I hope will resonate and just make your day brighter on occasion.
There you go. One of my ESPN Richmond, Kim Sink, well, along with Mindy Flanagan, Inspiring HR, they do HR differently. Folks, they got to go. They got stuff to do. Thanks now. Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.